In Massachusetts, 30,000 part time jobs are available for youth. With all the latest fashions and technology coming out, who has time to worry about hazards, precautions, and injuries in the workplace? Being safe, knowing your rights, and speaking out are all good ways to prevent this upcoming epidemic. Reports indicate that 80 workers were killed on the job in the Commonwealth in 2007. Thousands of workers are injured or killed on the job in Massachusetts every year. MassCosh provides support, informational materials, and workshops for issues about workplace rights and injuries. It's not just the numbers, it's what's behind these numbers. The fact that workers lose their lives as a result of an employer neglecting basic safety measures is pure injustice. MassCosh strives to stand together for a safe and healthy workplace.
Teens Lead at Work is a youth led program that helps spread awareness about teen worker fatalities and injuries. We do this by conducting workshops for teens to address these issues as well as think of strategies to better improve the workplace for teens. As peer leaders, we discuss these concerns and learn about worker issues. This film was produced with the views in mind to show a different dangerous workplace situation, what can happen if you're not using safety precaution. MassCosh Teen Leader at Work interview different people so they can share their workplace stories and experiences. After watching this film, we hope to broadcast a need for more safety precautions that is vital for us young workers.
Mass production of machinery led to the Industrial Revolution in the late 1800s and early 1900s in the United States. Due to the Industrial Revolution, children were exploited in America. Many employers often preferred children as workers because they were manageable, small enough to easily fit between machinery, and viewed as cheap labor. It wasn't easy for children to quit their jobs because they needed the money to help support their families. Because of low wages, they worked long hours and didn't have enough time to receive a decent education. Lack of experience with machinery led to numerous injuries and deaths at the workplace.
Young worker injuries became so common that concerned citizens and politicians organized the National Child Committee as a part of a way to advocate for better working conditions. Finally, in 1938, a bill was signed into law by Franklin D. Roosevelt called the Fair Labor Standards Act. This act placed limits on many forms of child labor, such as wages and limits on working hours.
There, there were pretty much no fines because the fines that were called for in the law went as low as $2. I think it's important to keep in mind that the original laws were passed for purposes of making sure that children initially had the best possible opportunity to get an education.
As the years progressed, the child labor law that was created by FDR didn't keep up with the growing new industries. Companies worried more about their profits than the well being of young employees. The growing amount of teen injuries became a concern in Massachusetts. This led local teens and politicians to launch a campaign in 2001 to protect young workers against Massachusetts child labor laws, which differ from federal law. The local teenagers lobbied at the State House, phone banked, rallied, and conducted a letter writing campaign for support.
A lot of teens didn't know what their rights were on the job. And that's important because they sometimes are the only ones who are going to stand up for their rights. And if the Attorney General's office is not there, or they've not been informed about a violation, they're just not going to be there. And so what's happened is that there has been training that's going on through the Attorney General's office, through the schools, and so it's made an impact. The Attorney General's office can impose a citation, so kind of equivalent to a traffic ticket. And they can impose a citation that just is a warning to employers, or they can fine, and it's for each violation too. So let's say that the hours are, there's a violation of the hours. Let's say teens are working after 10 o'clock on a school night. But if there are 13 or 14 teens, that's a violation for each one of them. Yes, which is interesting, and most people don't think about that because they think that the jobs that the young workers are employed to do are really safe jobs, and that the rate of injury should be much higher for adults because they're in more hazardous jobs. But in fact, that's not true. A lot of the reasons that people get injured is because of lack of experience, lack of training, and lack of supervision.
I give up my